'Twas the year 23, and I wonder will you come join me on this journey of tips to review. It's been quite a year, we got a new fort, and when David departed, you showed your support. With so many settings we've gone through this year, it's likely that some of them you did not hear. We'll talk about battery privacy, sure, but some of the new ones you'll love even more. Relax, kick those heels off, and settle in. But with so many settings, where do we begin? Let's start with those spam emails that Apple sends, and clean up your inbox to make room for your friends.
Open Settings and tap on your name at the top of the screen, then tap Name, Phone Numbers, Email. We're going to turn off the switches next to Announcements, Apps, Music, TV, and more, and the Apple News newsletter.
All this has another name, spam, and there's another setting buried in here.
Tap back in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, then tap Media and Purchases, tap View Account, sign in with your Face ID, then turn off the switch next to Personalized Recommendations. And while we're here, let's tap on Subscriptions at the bottom of the screen. Here's a list of the subscriptions on your iPhone. If there are subscriptions you no longer need, tap on them, and then tap Cancel Subscription.
And when you do, don't worry, you won't lose all the time you've paid for already. It just won't auto-renew next time around.
Let's tap back to the main Apple ID page, then tap iCloud, and tap on iCloud Private Relay.
iCloud Private Relay is an iCloud Plus only feature that keeps your internet browsing private, but we found out that it also has a way of breaking websites.
Eventually, Apple added a disclaimer which says without access to your IP address, some websites may require extra steps to sign in or access content. Rather than waiting for something to break, let's just turn that switch off. Next, let's tackle some of the most annoying settings, notifications. Let's head back to the main page of Settings. Scroll down, tap Notifications, and then scroll down to see a list of your apps and turn off notifications for apps that no longer need them.
Some apps can be really annoying with the amount of notifications that they send you. And if they're sending you notifications all day long, it's also going to drain your battery.
So for example, I actually recently canceled my TuneIn Radio subscription, but they're still sending me notifications every single day. I don't want those. I'm just going to tap that switch at the top of the screen. I'm not going to allow them to send me notifications. Next up, a setting we've never talked about before, don't show previews.
We all know what it looks like when your iPhone's on the table and a notification pops up from someone you know. Do you want the content of that notification, like the message from your mom, to show up for the whole world to see? Or would you rather just know that you got a notification from your mom? I don't want the whole world to see those messages.
Let's tap back to notifications, scroll to the top of the screen, or just tap anywhere at the top to go right to the top of the page. Tap on Show Previews, and then choose When Unlocked or Never.
I like When Unlocked because when I'm using my phone, I want to see what other people are saying to me, and usually people aren't also spying on me.
Let's tap When Unlocked. Next up, a notification setting that was introduced with iOS 16. Tap back to Notifications, upper left-hand corner of the screen. Tap on Screen Sharing and turn off the switch next to Allow Notifications.
Why should we care about this, David?
When you're sharing your screen, you're probably sharing it with other people, and you probably don't want them to see some of your more personal messages.
That's a good point. And our next setting is the car version of this one.
Tap back to Notifications, tap on Announce Notifications, tap on CarPlay, and then turn off the switch next to Announce Messages.
Our next settings can use up all your cellular data if you leave them on, and even if you have an unlimited data plan, they're going to drain your battery, so stick around.
Let's head back to the main page of Settings, tap on Cellular, and then scroll all the way down to iCloud Drive and iCloud Backup. Turn both of those switches off.
But I like iCloud Drive and iCloud Backup.
Well, you can still use Wi-Fi. Next, let's head back to the top of the screen. I'll just tap the top of my screen, and then we're going to tap on Cellular Data Options, tap on Voice and Data, and select either 5G Auto or LTE.
Stay away from 5G on. That's the dangerous one. It's going to burn through your battery life. If you don't have a good 5G connection around your home, like I don't have, just choose LTE because the LTE network is more built out, it's fast enough, and you'll save battery life.
I don't have any 5G where I live, so I'm going to select LTE.
What's also interesting is that the more people get off LTE and go to 5G, the faster LTE is going to become again.
Leave on 5G on your iPhone so we can get faster LTE.
There you go.
Thank you.
Conspiracy.
Next, let's step back upper left-hand corner of the screen and tap on Data Mode and select either Standard or Low Data Mode.
Low data mode only if you are out of cellular data for that month.
When Allow More Data on 5G is selected, your iPhone may actually prefer 5G over Wi-Fi. That's nuts. You don't want that. I'm going to select Standard.
We've talked about it before, but it is one of the biggest battery drainers ever, so we have to touch on it.
Let's head back to the main page of Settings. Scroll down and tap on Mail. then tap Accounts, and then tap Fetch New Data. First thing, turn off the switch next to Push.
With Push Mail on, your iPhone constantly asks, is there mail, is there mail, is there mail, to the mail server. With Fetch, you decide how often your iPhone checks to see if there is new mail.
Yeah, I'm going to select every 30 minutes, and anytime you open the Mail app, it automatically fetches new mail for you.
And if you would push the like button below this video, we would really appreciate it.
We have 2 more mail settings to talk about. Let's tap back to Accounts, then back to Mail, scroll down, and tap on Blocked Sender Options. I want to have my blocked senders marked. I want to know who they are. Turn that switch on. And do you want their emails to still show up in your inbox? Probably not.
I was going to say that, no.
No, you don't. So select Move to Trash.
Next up, Signature. If you're a professional or you have anti-Apple family members, the last thing you need is to be attaching Sent from my iPhone to the bottom of every email message.
Let's tap back to the main mail page, scroll down, and tap on Signature. Here's so you can edit your signature. I'm going to get rid of this Sent from my iPhone. You can type in something new or do nothing, or if you have another email signature that you want to just copy and paste here, it's probably the easiest, so I can just tap in here and then tap Paste. Don't bother calling that number. I don't think Jenny is going to pick up.
Our next setting is an iPhone 14 Pro, Pro Max, and newer feature that's always on.
Let's tap back to the main page of settings, scroll up, and tap on Display and Brightness, scroll down, tap on Always On Display. Right now, Always On Display, Show Wallpaper, and Show Notifications are all enabled.
Always On Display is built to give you a Spartan view of the most important information at a glance. You don't need to see the wallpaper too, and the wallpaper is going to drain your battery.
Yep.
So turn it off.
Let's tap that switch, turn off Show Wallpaper.
And if you get distracted easily like I do, also turn off Show Notifications.
That's off. This next setting is super important if you like to proofread your messages before Siri sends them. Let's tap back to the main page of settings, scroll down, and tap Siri and Search, and then tap on Automatically Send Messages and turn off that switch at the top of the screen.
It's going to be a while before I trust Siri that much. I used to use the Match app a lot before I met someone, so now I don't use it anymore. But when I did, I didn't want Match being suggested all the time when I was using my phone, especially in front of other people.
If you don't want suggestions from a specific app showing up when you're doing a spotlight search, tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen and scroll down to your list of apps. Maybe your mom said, I don't want you playing Angry Birds anymore. You spent $10,000 on gems or whatever they use in Angry Birds. Let's tap on that and turn off all of these switches.
This next setting is hot, hot, hot. Let's go to that spot.
Let's tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen to the main page of settings, scroll up and tap on Wi-Fi, and then scroll all the way down and tap on Auto Join Hotspot, and then select Never or Ask to Join. I'm going to pick Never.
Never is the right choice. You don't want your iPhone just asking to join random hotspots.
And you never know who's on the other end.
That's the personal hotspot version, but what about regular Wi-Fi networks?
Well, let's tap back to Wi-Fi upper left-hand corner of the screen, tap on Ask to Join Other Networks, and then select either Notify or Off.
I like Off. I know when I want to join a Wi-Fi network, and I don't want my iPhone bothering me while I'm eating my quarter pounder with cheese, or for our European friends, a Royale with cheese.
Okay, well, I'm going to select Off. You shouldn't ask to join networks, but we're going to ask you to subscribe to our network of more than 1 million friends. Hit that big subscribe button below the video.
Is that a police siren, David?
I wish I could reduce that awful noise.
Well, you can.
Let's head back to the main page of settings, tap on Sounds and Haptics, tap Headphone Safety, and look at this switch next to Reduce Loud Sounds. And I like to turn it off because I don't want my iPhone automatically lowering the volume for me. And as you can see, I've had 0 headphone notifications.
So why do you turn it off at all?
This is where we can really drive home the point and say these settings are all suggestions. You don't have to do every single thing if you don't like what we're saying. I'm going to turn it off because I like to live dangerously.
New feature, haptic feedback. What the heck does that mean?
Let's tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, scroll down and tap on keyboard feedback, and there's haptic feedback. It gives you a little bit of feedback when you're typing on the iPhone keyboard.
Like the Rumble Pack for N64.
However, Apple has admitted that using this feature does drain battery life. This is one where I like to leave on at the expense of that battery life, but if you don't like haptic feedback, feel free to turn that switch off.
If you're like me, and everyone around here knows this, you're very sensitive to sounds. First gripe, and I apologize to those of you who might be offended by this, let's turn off lock sound.
Let's tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, then turn off the switch next to lock sound.
I know when I lock my phone, and the other setting in here is play haptics in silent mode.
The vibration motor in your iPhone isn't silent. You can hear it and other people can hear it too, so let's tap that switch next to play haptics and silent mode.
So now silent mode is actually silent, not just kind of quiet mode. Are you oversensitive to sound? Leave a comment below. Next, let's talk about 4 really important App Store settings.
Let's tap back to the main page of settings, scroll down, and tap on App Store. The first one to look at is app downloads. Turn that off.
You're welcome. This is a super annoying setting for anyone that has an iPad and turned this on their iPad and then downloaded an app on their iPhone and found out it was also on their iPad. And maybe they did that 100 times before they realized that this was a switch, like I did.
Me too. Next, let's scroll down to the cellular data section and turn off automatic downloads.
Using cellular data to automatically download apps is going to drain your battery life. So just wait until you're at home. It'll automatically happen on Wi-Fi.
Next, we're going to tap on video autoplay. By default, that is set to on. I would select Wi-Fi only or off. I don't really like the video autoplay though. I'm going to select off.
I give that tip a 5-star review.
Well, I hate those in-app ratings and reviews. You open the app for the first time, boom, they want a 5-star review. I don't know. I haven't used your app. I can't give you an honest review at this point. Let's tap back to App Store and turn off the switch next to in-app ratings and reviews.
Next up, 2 Safari settings, one of which is intentionally obscure.
Let's tap back to the main page of settings, scroll down, and tap Safari. The first one, not super obscure. Preload top hit, turn that switch off.
Preload top hit loads the first result in Google because Apple thinks you're going to click on that one. You probably are, let's be honest, but you don't need to waste battery life downloading that page before you decide to click on it.
Now we're going to scroll down and talk about that confusing setting. Privacy preserving ad measurement. Sounds like something we want to leave on, but we're going to tell you, turn it off.
When the switch is off, it doesn't mean that your privacy isn't preserved. It means that there's no ad measurement of any kind.
Did Apple make this intentionally confusing so you wouldn't turn it off? Yes. This next setting is one of the ways people can track you on your iPhone. Let's tap back to the main page of settings, tap on messages, scroll down, and tap on text message forwarding.
It's kind of scary, but there are a ton of ways that people can track you using your iPhone. We just put out a video on it. You could check that out, card above. Description section below the subscribe button.
Make sure there aren't any devices you weren't aware of here in text message forwarding. You don't want your messages being forwarded to devices you have no control over.
Next up, low quality image mode. Turn it off.
Let's tap back, upper left-hand corner of the screen, scroll down to low quality image mode. When this is on, images sent will be lower quality. Why would we want that? Let's turn that off. And while we're talking about images, let's go to the camera section of the settings app, tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, scroll down, tap on camera, and then tap on formats.
This is one of my favorite parts of the settings app, David. And depending on the iPhone you have, you may not see all of the settings that we do, but there are a couple that are important to turn off or at least to be aware of.
First is Apple Pro RAW. Pro RAW resolution of 48 megapixels. These photos are gigantic in size.
Yeah, this is the only way to take 48 megapixel photos on your iPhone though. And if you choose to, we have a shortcut we'll link to that we made that compresses them and makes them kind of more manageable.
The same goes for Apple ProRes. I was just taking some demo video for a video we're going to record later. A ProRes video was 17 minutes long, took up 99 gigabytes of storage space. That's nearly half of my iPhone storage.
And they sell a 128 gigabyte version of the latest iPhone, so you can buy a $1,000 iPhone, take a 20-minute video, and you're done.
You don't need to be taking ProRes video. Turn that switch off.
Your iPhone has an amazing camera, and photographic styles have a way of making your photos look worse.
If you want to develop your own photo style, you can just edit it in the Photos app. To look at photographic styles, tap back to camera, scroll down and tap on photographic styles, and just to turn it off, just select use standard.
I tried the cool style for a while. It didn't make me a cool guy.
We recently received a question in our Discord.
You should join it.
Asking about a couple of accessibility settings that they were told save battery life, but it isn't really true. Let's tap back to the main page of settings, scroll up, and tap on accessibility, and then tap on display and text size, and look at the switches next to reduce transparency and increase contrast.
You have to keep things in perspective when we're talking about saving battery life. Push mail, it's going to save this much battery life.
Yep.
This setting, this much battery life.
It also makes your iPhone look just a lot worse when both of these switches are turned on. So if you watched another video or read a different article saying to turn these switches on, go ahead and turn them off.
9 to 5 Mac, David. They copied one of our videos.
Sure did, yeah.
Well, the first setting in our video
and their video
is this next one.
Tap back to the main page of settings, then tap on home screen as one above accessibility, and then look at the switch next to show on home screen.
Before we change it, let's show people what the default looks like.
You get this nice little search bar. You can tap on that and it opens up Spotlight Search for you.
But there's another way to open Spotlight Search.
Swipe down anywhere in the middle of the screen.
Okay, so that's great. There's no point to having that search bar in the bottom, but it can be useful.
If I go back into settings and turn off the switch next to show on home screen, and then I close out of the settings app, we get this nice little home screen slider, which you can use to swipe between your home screens.
So David only has 2 home screens. I have about 15, so this is useful for me, not so much for David.
I actually turn off the Spotlight Search too, because sometimes I just accidentally press it when I don't want to, and it's annoying.
I guess it's different strokes for different folks, David.
Unless you're 9 to 5 Mac and you just copy our whole video. Yeah. Anyway, the next tip, they didn't actually steal this one, which is kind of disappointing for their viewers, because background app refresh is one of the biggest battery drainers on iPhones.
Is it really plagiarism though, David, if you have, like, let's say Harry Potter and you cut out chapter 2, 3, and 10?
You just remove the spew storyline from book 3 or 4. And
I don't know what that means, but yeah, is that really plagiarism? Would you get sued for that?
Probably.
Yep.
Let's open up the settings app, tap back to the main page of settings, and then tap general. Tap on background app refresh. First thing to look at is the background app refresh option at the top of the screen. Tap on that and select Wi-Fi.
Using cellular data here drains your battery. You unlimited data people who have unlimited data and like to tell us that you do, you should care.
Then tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen and ask yourself, which of my apps should I allow to download new content in the background of my iPhone? Most of the time, it's just going to be no, I don't want that.
Every time you turn off a switch in this list, you're saving a little bit more battery life. For me, I turn off almost everything except for Messages apps. Let's talk privacy.
Let's tap back to the main page of settings, tap on privacy and security. First thing to look at is your list of apps here. Which apps do you want having access to your contacts, your camera, all of your photos? Probably not that many. So let's start with photos.
Yeah.
And TikTok, for example, has access to all my photos. TikTok recently admitted to spying on people through the app. Do you want TikTok having access to all of your photos? No. Let's tap on TikTok and then select either selected photos or none if you're uploading TikToks from your Photos app to TikTok. They're going to need some access.
I like that Apple built in a selected photos option here, so it's not an all or nothing thing anymore.
Right. Let's tap on selected photos, and you get this pop-up here, and it wants you to select all your photos right now, but if you just tap done upper right-hand corner of the screen, you can always come back and edit your selected photos. So if you have a new TikTok you want to upload, just come back here and select it.
Let's go back to the main privacy and security page of settings. And same deal with your camera, same deal with your microphone. Let's go to the bottom and talk about analytics and improvements.
Tap on that. To get an idea of how much data is being sent from your iPhone to Apple, you can just tap into analytics data and just see this, this ridiculous list. This is going to drain battery life, can use cellular data as well.
Right, and it's not just a little bit. Each one of these files, for instance, can be over 10 megabytes.
Let's tap back in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. We really recommend turning off all the switches here in iPhone Analytics. If you tap the one at the top first, it gets rid of most of them. Next up, let's talk about ads. Tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, tap on Apple Advertising and turn off the switch next to personalized ads. But wait, I don't want to see ads that are boring and bad and not personalized to me.
Well, Mr. Commenter, you won't see low-quality ads because Apple doesn't let them into their ad network. That would be bad for business.
Next, we're going to tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, scroll all the way to the top, and tap on tracking. Which apps do you want to be able to track you across other apps and websites on your iPhone? I think the answer for every single app is going to be none.
None. I just turn it off at the top. That turns off all the ones at the bottom too.
Yep, so let's tap that switch at the top of the screen, and then tap Ask Apps to stop tracking. And now these apps aren't tracking, and in the future, new apps won't even be allowed to request to track you. Now we're going to tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, tap on location services, and look at your list of apps. When can these apps access your location?
If you see the word always, run for the high hills or just tap on the app and turn it off.
Yep, so let's scroll down. I've got the Sony headphones app can always access my location. Probably doesn't need that access, so you can choose while using the app or ask next time, or never if it's an app that doesn't need your location ever.
In terms of what actually affects your battery, why we talk about this one so much is that this is one of those giant ones.
So I'm going to select while using the app. Also take a look at the precise location switch. The more precise the location, the more battery your iPhone is going to use. Turn this off for every single app that isn't a Maps app. Next up, we're going to tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen, scroll down, and tap on System Services. We've got a long list of system services, and by default, all of these are on your iPhone.
We're going to turn most of these right off.
Apple Pay merchant identification off, cell network search off, compass calibration off, device management off, emergency calls and SOS, leave that one on, Find My iPhone, leave that one on.
If you have Apple Care Plus with theft and loss and Find My iPhone is turned off, Apple will not cover the loss, so leave it on.
HomeKit, if you get no HomeKit devices, go ahead and turn that off. Location-based alerts, suggestions, turn those off. Motion calibration, distance off. Networking and wireless off. You'll get this pop-up here. Just tap turn off. Don't even bother reading it. Don't read the fine print. Satellite connection, jury is still out on this one. iPhones can now make phone calls through satellites. Has saved some lives already. We're not going to tell you to turn this one off.
We don't want to be responsible for killing you, but we will find out more about this.
Setting time zone, turn that one off. Share my location. If it's a feature you use, leave it on. If you don't, turn it off. Sharing.framework off. System customization off.
Apple says that if you turn this off, optimized battery charging won't work, but in my experience, it still does.
Wi-Fi calling, turn that switch off. Even when it's off, Wi-Fi calling will still work. So why is this here?
A lot of these settings have to do with reconfiguring your iPhone when you travel to other countries. For instance, other countries have different Wi-Fi calling setups. So if you're staying in the US or wherever you live, just turn this off. If you travel to other countries, it's a good idea to come back in here and just turn them all back on.
At the bottom of your list of system services, you'll see significant locations. Tap on that Face ID to get in. And as you can see, I've got 3 records. There's my street right there. We recommend turning the switch off.
It's creepy, especially if your iPhone ever fell into the wrong hands.
Turn that switch off at the top of the screen, then tap turn off.
But we've got to clear the history too, David.
Let's tap clear history, tap clear history. Now it's totally gone.
All right, let's go back. Previous page and to the bottom, product improvement switches.
iPhone analytics, I thought we already turned that off. Guess not. Turn that switch off. Routing and traffic, turn that switch off. And improve maps, Apple Maps, still not great. And if you uninstall the Maps app on your phone, this option won't be there.
We're Apple people. Use Google Maps. It's better, especially if you want to get to where you want to go.
If we went through those settings too fast for you, consider joining this channel by clicking the join button below this video. We have PDFs of all the settings we recommend turning off and turning on. You can print that out, go through it at your own pace.
And it's a great way to support our channel. We understand that we go too fast for some people, but come on guys, throw us a bone. We'll throw you a PDF.
Next up, a bonus tip that'll make your internet zippier.
We bumped this tip out of Wi-Fi settings because it was a little bit too complicated for the middle of one of our videos. But if you've made it this far, let's go deep. Let's go to the Wi-Fi section of settings.
Tap back upper left-hand corner of the screen to the main page of settings. Scroll up and tap on Wi-Fi.
Then make sure you're connected to your home Wi-Fi network and tap the I on the right-hand side of the screen next to it.
Yep, tap that information button. Boom.
Yep, and then scroll all the way down to configure DNS.
Configure DNS, tap on that.
And then tap on manual, remove whatever's in there.
Tap that red minus button to remove it, and then tap delete.
We're going to replace it with Cloudflare DNS. DNS is like the white pages of the internet. You type in google.com, DNS tells your iPhone where to actually look in the world for google.com. So by replacing this with a faster DNS, all of your internet is going to get faster. Cloudflare, the best, 1.1.1.1.
So I'll tap add server and type in
1.1.1.1. And like all things, it's a good idea to have a backup. Let's add another server, 1.0.0.1.
And then tap save in the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
Go to Google or a website and refresh the page. It'll be faster than it was before.
Whoa!
As we delve through these settings, here's a treat in store. You can join our channel for PDF guides and more. A treasure of knowledge just one click away to enhance your tech journey each day by day. Next up, a cool feature that's designed to protect your eyesight, but that a lot of people are having issues with. Scroll up to screen time and tap on that. And some of the people I've talked to have actually turned this on accidentally. Come down here to screen distance, and I'm going to turn this switch off. The people I've talked to that find this annoying are people who wear glasses, or people who don't have the best vision, especially at night. When they're in bed, they're holding the phone up to their face to be able to actually read, easily without eye strain, but then the phone is saying it's too close to your face. Is having this switch turned off going to harm you? Well, it says down here that it's going to reduce the risk of myopia in children. So if you're an adult, I don't think it's probably worth the annoyance. For kids, maybe it's a different story. I am not a doctor. Before we move on, I want to apologize in advance to you. I'm going to be using the 4-letter S word a little bit in this next setting. Let's tap screen time in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, then tap settings. I'm going to go down a little bit to Siri and search. I'll tap on that. And this is a brand new iOS 17 feature. I'll tap on Listen For, and here we have Siri or Hey Siri. I just wanted to mention this because if you're someone who accidentally activates Siri a lot, you probably don't want to make it easier to activate Siri. I think Apple has done a really good job with this, where I can use Siri in a sentence and it won't necessarily activate, but if you don't like this new Just Say Siri thing, you can go back to Hey Siri or shut it off completely. I will leave it on Siri. But now I got to set up Hey Siri and Siri again. Next up, a new iOS 17 feature that normal people should just turn right off. I'll tap back and back to settings again. I'm going to scroll down to music. Don't usually go there. Tap on music. Then I'm going to scroll down to crossfade. I'm a normal person just like you. I like blending soda and Mentos. I like mixing sour cream and onion potato chips with salt and vinegar. Normal. But when it comes to music, crossfade is kind of dumb. Unless you're listening to EDM, I suppose, where everything has the same beat and you can't tell the difference between the songs anyway. Burn. But if you're a normal person like me, and your playlist is filled with country music and death metal, let's see what it sounds like when we mix them together. Can we all agree that that wasn't good? I like that Apple built this feature in, but I am turning it off. Before we move on, maybe you're not a Pay It Forward channel member, but you want to crossfade into being one so you get free PDFs in addition to a lot of other cool stuff. Click the join button below the video. That's the crossfade I like. Next, and speaking of music, let's head back to settings and head up to sounds and haptics. Tap on that. Ringtone. Let's tap on that. It's time to turn off your old, tired ringtone that you haven't changed in the last 7 years. Well, let's be honest. There are some really cool ones. The one that I was really impressed with is called Radial. And that is a really cool demo of the spatial audio that your phone can actually do. It sounds very stereo. How does that work? Hashtag sample delay. I do have an ulterior motive for taking you to this section. If we go back, I would just like to show you how to make your phone as least annoying as possible for your friends. First thing, scroll down to keyboard feedback. Tap on that. Do we want to hear the clickety-clacks every time you're typing the keyboard on your iPhone? I don't want to hear you typing. Turn off sound. Haptic is up to you. It's that little feedback. Can't really hear it from far away, but it does drain your battery life. Even Apple admits that. I'll turn that off. Tap back. We're not done. Lock sound? Do I need to hear the when you lock your phone? I don't think so. Do you need to hear it? Turn it off. System haptics. Let's turn that off too. It's okay. I mean, you press the button, you get a little feedback. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. It's going to drain your battery, turn it off. Next up, tap back to the main page of settings, then tap on notifications, then tap on screen sharing. Okay, this is not a new feature, but there are a ton of awesome new features in tvOS 17 that makes this one more important than ever. And that's why I just wanted to bring it up to mention it. If this is on and you're FaceTiming on Apple TV, for example, now somebody can see your embarrassing text messages you're getting during the conversation. Do you want that? I don't. Let's turn off Allow Notifications. Now we're going to go to Messages. So we'll scroll up to Messages and tap on that. And then we're going to go to Share Name and Photo. Tap on that. And here we have control over what people see when you call them. Contact posters are actually customized posters that show up whenever you call someone in your contacts. So instead of just seeing the number, they get to see your face or whatever photo you want to show them, or an emoji or just some cool monogram, and they get to see your name however you want to display it. So that's actually really cool. And it updates automatically on their phone when you change this. So it's kind of fun. After you turn it on, let's tap on Edit, then tap Customize, and we'll start with Contact Photo. This is where you get to choose what photo you want to show up on their phone when you call them, obviously. You can crop the one you currently have. I'll tap Choose a different photo, because maybe I don't like this one I took. If you want to support my diet, you can subscribe to the channel, just saying. I'll just choose a different photo. Let's come out of here. Oh, look, it's me, Telluride, Colorado. Take this and, hey, it's Skier Dave. How you doing, everybody? Tap Choose. And now people are going to see this, and of course, it's Apple. I can change the filter. I'll just keep standard. Tap Next, and then choose your poster. I'm going to say Photos, because I just selected that. And there you go. It's me in front of this thing, and you can swipe between different styles. Maybe it's just me. I'm just kind of hanging out, and you can't tell what I'm doing. And I can pinch to zoom or crop it or whatever. I think I'm having too much fun, Zach. All right, let's say I like this, because I do. And I'm going to tap on this, though, and I want a fancier font that more reflects my refined personality and taste. So I'm set on that. I'll tap Done in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. David Payette, that's me. Let's tap Done in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and this is done. Now let's see how it works. I'll give this phone number a call. It's one of our studio phones. You can feel free to shoot us a message if you want. Let's see what happens here. It says David Payette. I can tap on that, and there I am with my fancy contact card. The reason it's actually showing up on this phone is that I have this contact in my contacts. So don't worry, if you call some random person, they're not going to automatically get your picture. Did I mention there's live voicemail? Hey, how are you today, John? It's David here, and figured I'd just give you a call while we're recording a YouTube video. Trying to test out this live voicemail thing that's new in iOS 17. At least I've heard that. Next up, a setting that's kind of like the Mr. Clean of settings. It's going to help you keep your iPhone clean. I'll open Settings, and then scroll down to Passwords. And tap on that, Face ID, and tap on Password Options. And then turn on Clean Up Automatically underneath verification codes. I know that you, like me, probably get a lot of those 6-digit or now 7-digit passcodes in your text messages and also via email. This deletes them after you use them, as long as you're autofilling them using your iPhone. And that's really cool. Now your entire Messages app isn't going to fill up with messages like these. Before we get to a super important camera setting, next we're going to talk about a really cool camera trick that's going to help you clear storage space on your iPhone. Let's head back to the Settings app. I'll open that up, and we're going to scroll down to Camera, first step, and this little cool trick. Tap on Camera, and then tap on Formats. And you have to make sure that Apple ProRes is turned on. I'll close this and open the Camera app. And then I'm going to tap over to Video. Right now, beautiful video of the table, but this will still work. I'll tap this little ProRes HDR with the slash through it to remove that slash. And now I can see the max amount of time, 13 minutes, I can record ProRes on my 256 gigabyte iPhone. That's how big those files are. But I can tap Free Resources here. Yeah! And then it says Freeing Resources. This is just clearing up storage space on your iPhone. This is really cool. And now it says max time 14 minutes. What? And then a link to storage settings. Sometimes you have to tap it more than once to free up all the space that you can. But if we head to the bottom here, you can see my system data is now 3.71 gigabytes, and I've seen it be a lot bigger than that before. And by the way, if you're looking for other ways to remove system data from your phone, check out our other video about that. Next up, an awesome new iOS 17 feature that everybody loves, including me, live voicemail. We're going to scroll up to Phone, tap on that, and scroll down to Live Voicemail, tap on that, and turn it on. This is an amazing feature. And another feature that I want to point out, if we tap back to Phone, silence unknown callers. Turning this on was always an issue for me because I had no way of knowing who was calling me. And if it's a doctor's office or something, I might miss an important call. But with Live Voicemail, when they call, you can see them leaving the message as they are. So Apple has brought the answering machine back into the 21st century. Thank you, Apple. Next awesome new feature is called Standby. First things first, let's head back to the Settings app. Scroll up to Standby. It stands out too because it's black. Make sure the switch is on, otherwise it's not going to work. Display always on. When always on is enabled, the display will intelligently turn off when not in use. So is it really always on? What does that actually mean? It means that if your phone is flipped upside down, the proximity sensor is going to notice that it's flat on the table and you can't see it, so it's going to turn off the display, even if it's always on most of the time. We definitely want night mode turned on and motion to wake if you're someone who enjoys sleeping. Tap back to standby in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Show notifications, that one's up to you. If you're leaving your phone out in the open and you get text messages from your special friends who you don't live with, then maybe leave this one turned off. Otherwise, I'll leave it on. Now let's see how it works. Here we are in standby mode. All the way to the right is a clock. The middle one is photos. You have to unlock your phone to view the photos. How about that picture right there? Can't see a darn thing. And then all the way to the left is just widgets that you can go up and down on. Next up, passwords and passkeys. This is an awesome new feature. And at first I thought, I'm not going to share my passwords. But then I realized I already am sharing my passwords for certain accounts. You might be too. And this is going to eliminate those text messages where it's, what is the password again? I forgot. Here we go. I'll open settings and then scroll down to passwords. Tap on that. Face ID. Now I see the share passwords with family. And the truth is it can be anybody, not just your family. I'll tap get started and continue. And we'll stick with family passwords. Why not? And I'll add a person. And I'm going to add John Upphone, my fake son, and I'll tap add. All right, so now we have a group, got me, we've got John, and we'll click create, or we'll tap create. Update devices to access shared passwords. It's pretty self-explanatory. Tap continue, and now we get to choose which passwords we want to share. I'm totally not going to choose a streaming service here. Notify John Upphone, I'll just say not now. So here I can see which passwords I've shared with people that I trust. Last year with the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, Apple announced the very first 48 megapixel sensor ever on an iPhone. Awesome, except you could only use it if you took Pro RAW photos, which were over 10 times bigger than the normal photos you're used to taking on your iPhone. I didn't know why that was the case. I built a shortcut that helped you get around that, but it was a pain in the butt to use. Now, finally, Apple built this feature into the 14 Pro and Pro Max. So those of you who have those phones just got a free upgrade, you're welcome. Let's open settings, and we're gonna scroll all the way down to the camera app. Tap on that. Let's tap on formats, and this is where it gets interesting. First things first, make sure you have high efficiency turned on here at the top under camera capture. Next, let's turn on Pro RAW and resolution control, and then tap into Pro Default. We're going to use HEIF, or high efficiency image format, I think is what it stands for. Something like that. If it's not that, you just tell me. HEIF max up to 48 megapixels. It says up to 48 megapixels because if you're zooming in or not using the main camera, it's not going to be 48. These files, let's just zoom in here, are going to be 5 megabytes for 48 megapixels. As compared to the 75 megabytes, it says a Pro RAW photo is going to be for the same size photo. Yes, the Pro RAW photo has more data. Yes, it's more editable, but the iPhone camera is amazing, and you're not going to really see a big difference if you're not a professional photographer. But if you're taking photos and then hitting auto to correct it, then stick with HEIF max. Before we see how this works in the camera app, there's one more setting to talk about. Tap back to camera, and then tap on preserve settings, and then we're going to scroll down to Pro RAW and resolution control, because we don't want this setting to change every time we close and reopen the camera app. Now that you can choose to have these small, super awesome photos, why wouldn't you want to take them all the time? Let's look at the differences here because they are absolutely amazing. Wow, can you believe that? And because we turned on that last setting in preserve settings, when I close the camera app and reopen it, I'm still on HEIF max, I'm still taking great photos. Now on to this awesome camera feature. I'll tap on camera, and then I'll tap record video, scroll to the bottom, And this is a new feature, Lock White Balance. Let's turn that on. What the heck is white balance and why is it important, you ask? Well, I'm here to tell you. Think of the paint section of Home Depot. You go in and there are a whole bunch of different whites. There's some that are warm, some that are a little blue or cool. In real life, light is like that too. If you're outside in the sun, white is going to be different than if you're inside under a warmer kitchen light, for instance. When you take video with your iPhone, the camera analyzes your surroundings and then picks the best white, or the right white, for the situation. Okay, Dave, if the camera does it automatically, why should I care about this setting at all? Well, let me answer you, other Dave. Let's say you're recording a video and you're going from outside to inside. The white is going to change because the sunlight is a different white than the inside light. So if lock white balance is on, you're outside, it looks like you're outside. And then when you go inside, it doesn't correct itself to look different. It looks like you're inside. The idea here is that when you're outside, you're filming, you go inside, the white doesn't change. So you can actually tell that you're inside, as opposed to if this feature is off, when you're outside, you walk through the door and everything changes. And so the white looks about the same on the inside. And all of a sudden your film doesn't really feel as genuine. So this is a really cool setting that I think probably everybody should leave on. And everybody knows that the iPhone Photos app is amazing at editing videos and color correction. Next up is one that's going to save Apple on their support costs, but also might compromise your privacy if you don't know how it works. Let's dive in. I'll open up Settings and scroll down to Face ID and Passcode. Tap on that. I'll enter my passcode and scroll down to Change Passcode. And we have to talk. Because in iOS 17, Apple completely changed what happens when you change your passcode. And it is less secure than it used to be. Let's say your conniving cousin Kurt gets a hold of your phone, cracked your super secure password of 1234, and now he's in the Photos app, in the hidden album, and he's up to no good. What do? You get the phone back and you change your passcode. So let's do that. I'll tap Change Passcode, enter my current passcode, and then enter a new passcode. I can't remember 6 numbers, so I'm going to tap Passcode Options at the bottom. I'll choose 4-digit numeric code and pick a new super secure password. In the olden days, I'd be safe, but not anymore. In iOS 17, Apple introduced a feature called Temporary Passcode Reset. For the next 72 hours, you can enter your old passcode, which is the wrong passcode, and then reset it again to a new, different passcode. If you think that you can remember your 4-digit new passcode, then the safest thing to do is tap Expire Previous Passcode Now. I think this feature is designed to save Apple money, but it's not too good for you. Let's dive into an awesome feature in iOS 17, AirTag sharing. It's like handing someone a digital key to your physical keys. And with the holidays coming up, this is a great stocking stuffer. Here's how it works. We'll open the Find My app on the phone, and I'll tap Items at the bottom. Then I'll tap David's keys, just my keys. Then we'll scroll down a little bit to share this AirTag, and it's as easy as tapping Add Person. How is AirTag sharing useful? Well, maybe you're on a family road trip. You share an AirTag you place in the car. If someone needs to know where the car is parked, or if it's moved, they can check their phone. Cool. Ever since iOS 17, there has been a new default notification sound, and it stinks. It sounds like you accidentally butt-dialed someone and then hung up on them. Starting in iOS 17.2, you can change this finally. I'll open the Settings app and tap here on Sounds and Haptics. Scroll down and you'll see this brand new default alerts section. Tap on that. Now you can change it to whatever you want in this section. Unfortunately, these still aren't customizable like ringtones are, but at least this is a step up from what we originally had, which was nothing. Next up, a prediction I have about a setting you don't like, inline predictions. The helpful new feature that makes you feel like your iPhone is trying to read your mind and finish your sentences, but instead it's just putting the mess back in your messages. Let's open the Settings app, we're already there. Tap back, and then tap back to Settings again. Then we're going to go to General here. Tap on that. Then we're going to scroll down to Keyboard and tap on that. And in this keyboard section of settings, we'll tap the switch next to Show Predictions Inline to turn it off. Turning this off is like shutting down your overeager friend who always thinks they know what you're about to say, so they interrupt you. No more "I'm on my way to the store" turning into "I'm on my way to the moon." Speaking of messages, let's delve into what our more privacy-conscious fans are saying is the best new iOS 17 feature: iMessage Contact Key Verification. Here's how to turn on Contact Key Verification. I'll open the Settings app on this phone, and tap on your name at the top of the screen, then scroll down all the way to the bottom here and you'll see Contact Key Verification. Before we turn it on, you need to know that every Apple product you own has to have iMessage that's capable of running iMessage Contact Key Verification for this to work. Tap on that, and then turn on verification in iMessage. You'll get some information here, and then I can tap Continue. This feature is like a secret handshake for your messages. What does it do? Well, think of iMessage Key Verification like sending a letter in the mail in a special magical envelope. When you write a message, it goes into this envelope, which can only be opened by the person you're sending it to. This is because only you and your friend have the magic wands, which are the keys, that can open these envelopes. Now, what if a wizard hacker tries to create a fake wand to open your messages? If it spots a fake wand, it tells you, which ensures that only the other magicians or your friends with the right magic or key can read your messages. This way, your secret conversation stays safe and private. And I can also show my public verification code. And I can put this online. I can even put it in my Twitter profile. This isn't a password or anything private because the keys are hidden. Now, let's say you're in the Messages app and you want to use this. Well, you have to tap on the contact at the top here and then scroll down to the bottom and you'll see Advanced Message Security, which is new, David Payette, verification off. To use Contact Key Verification, ask them to turn it on in Settings. So for those of you precocious people who like to be privy to the latest privacy precautions, iMessage Contact Key Verification in iOS 17 is a great feature you don't want to overlook. Next up, we're going to talk about battery in About. Let's open Settings, tap back to Settings. I'm going to tap at the top here just to go all the way to the top, and then tap on General. And then I'm going to tap on About, then I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and if you do not have an iPhone 15, you will not see this section. Why? Well, because Apple chose not to put it on your phone. There's literally no reason why it shouldn't be there. But just saying, battery manufacture date, first use, cycle count. Things like first use, when your phone was assembled, and number of charge cycles are here. If you think you have a problem with your battery, you can cross-check this number with your battery health percentage to see if it's time for a replacement. Next up, name drop. Picture this, you're at a networking event, and instead of fumbling around with business cards or handing someone else your phone, you just hold your iPhone near the top of someone else's. Presto, your contact info is shared. Sounds convenient, right?
But I'm not done yet.
In fact, a lot of people and the police say you should turn it off. But is that true? Or is it a bunch of balagna? Here's why you might consider turning it off. Sure, sharing contact info is easier than ever, but do you really want to accidentally beam your details to someone nearby? It's like accidentally casting a spell in the world of wizards. Oops, wrong person. But you do have control over your information. When you use name drop, a glow emerges from the top of both devices and you're given the option to receive only or share. But in the heat of the moment, you might accidentally share more than you intended. As we said, police are recommending you turn off name drop. But why shouldn't you turn it off? Well, in my opinion, it's awesome. And it's not like it happens totally automatically. You do have to confirm it. It reminded Zach and me of when Apple Pay came out. It was the same kind of mass hysteria. People were going to be walking around with NFC little gadgets and stealing your money because now I can wirelessly Apple Pay. But that didn't happen. One thing I don't love about name drop is that it's only for new contacts. You can't use it at this point to update your friend's contact if they move, for instance, which would be useful. Let's take a journey now to the new Journal app. I'll tap to open it up. Do you want to allow Journal to use Face ID? Yes. Welcome to Journal. Continue. It's easy to create blank journal entries, which it should be, but if I tap plus here at the bottom of the screen and scroll down here, I can see, think about a recent topic you were curious about. What sparked your curiosity? Who's the wisest person in your family? What have you learned from them recently? Well, obviously me. And what have I learned from myself recently? That I'm the wisest person. I'm going to be making my own entries because I instantly start picking apart their stupid suggested journal entries. But maybe you like the prompts. Do you? Let us know in the comment section below. Couple quick thoughts before we move on. If we go to settings and then back to general, back to settings, and scroll down to journal, tap on that. Tap here on lock journal. You have to enter your iPhone passcode, which I'll do, and then turn on lock here, and you could require a passcode after 1 minute, or immediately, or 5 or 15 minutes. If you're writing stuff that you don't want your nosy friends to read, it's a good idea to lock up your journal and enjoy a little bit more peace of mind. One more cool setting, if you're bad at remembering things like I am sometimes, go back to journal and tap on journaling schedule and turn on schedule, and you could be reminded to journal at a specific time every day or whichever days you want to. You put a lot of effort into journaling every day. We put a lot of effort into making these videos, so hit that like button and subscribe to show some appreciation for us. Next up, we're going to talk about one of our favorite topics here at Pay It Forward, your laundry. Have you ever looked at a clothing tag and seen these little symbols? I had never noticed them before, but you can see that there's these little symbols that actually mean things. And how do you find out what they mean? Well, look no further than the Photos app. When you take a photo of the laundry tag, you can go into the Photos app and use visual lookup to see what each of these symbols mean. What a cool life hack. I'll tap into the photo here, and at the bottom of the screen, look real quick, there's this laundry icon. I'll tap on that, and then tap Look Up Laundry Care. Do not dry clean. Washing, maximum 40 degrees Celsius. Bleaching with non-chlorine agents. Tumble drying. Ironing, maximum 110 degrees Celsius. No more excuses if you shrink that cashmere sweater, my friend. That was a lot of information pretty fast. If you want a write-up of every single setting we're talking about in this video and others, please consider joining our channel. It's super easy. Just hit the join button down below and get access to those free PDFs. Next, we'll talk about some crop I really like. Do you like a certain part of a photo you took and want to crop it out quick? Well, now you don't even need to go into the edit section in the Photos app. Let's head to the Photos app on the phone here. And let's see here. I'll tap here on this picture of my brand new Steinway A. And you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, real quick, tap that crop button. That brings you right to the correct part of the edit section. And you can even tap this auto button at the top, and it'll automatically crop your photo. Now, it could be terrible, like it just did with this. Apparently, it thinks that my Steinway should be falling off. It's like a ship, like it's just falling off the side of a ship. So I'll tap done and use this incredible machine learning and artificial intelligence that's built into the phone. And I mean, that's much better. Let's give some attention to a groundbreaking feature for iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max users, the ability to record videos directly to an external USB drive. Let's look at the difference. This creates a much more seamless workflow for you content creators out there like us. It streamlines the workflow, which allows you to transfer the files really, really fast, which you could really never do before with an iPhone. What do you need for this to work? Let's start with the surprise external hard drive. We'll get to the accoutrements in a second. Apple has a lot of tech jargon on their website about what you need. We'll drop some links in the description section below to external SSDs that you can use with your phone. These are the solid state drives, not the old school spinning ones, because the old school ones can't save data fast enough for the video. That's how you do it. This is probably how the filmmakers at Apple shot the Scary Fast event this past October. Let's unpack a hidden gem in iOS 17, offline maps. We've all been there, right? You're on a road trip in the middle of nowhere and your GPS says, sorry, can't help. But with iOS 17, that's a thing of the past. Here's how to do it. I'll show you my favorite way. Swipe back to the home screen and open the Maps app. Now I'm going to search maps for a place I'm visiting on vacation. Let's check out Lake Placid. All I need to do is hit this new download button, and I can pinch to zoom in or out to either get more of the area or less of the area. So if I know I'm going to go to Saranac Lake, maybe I'll get all the offline maps for this giant area. And as we change the area, we see the size of the map changing below. Obviously, the bigger the area, the bigger the download. Then tap download, and that's it. It'll just work. At first I thought this isn't really that cool of a feature, but it is. So when you hit dead zones, your map doesn't go blank. That's great. It's like having a trusty old paper map, but it's smarter, and you don't have your dad giving you dirty looks in the back seat for not folding it back together perfectly. Speaking of driving around, let's talk about a feature that's changing the game for drivers. Imagine this, you're cruising down the highway and you get a text message with an image. Now we all know that looking at your phone while driving is a no-go. Enter Siri, your trusty CarPlay co-pilot. Siri and CarPlay isn't just about reading text messages anymore. It's about keeping you informed safely. Here's how it works. You receive an image and a message. Instead of tempting you to peek, Siri chimes in. Siri gives you a verbal description of the image. It's like having a narrator in your car telling you a story based on the picture. This is a big win for road safety. You keep your eyes on the road, your hands on the wheel, and still get the gist of the image. As we wrap up our journey through settings tonight, thank you for watching. It's been a delight. If you found value in our tech-filled quest, please like and subscribe because we do our best. Now that we've embarked on this knowledge-filled tour, together let's look forward to 24. So until next time, keep those iPhones bright, happy teching to all, and to all a good night. And lastly, annoying your employers. Maybe you like leaving your backpack at work. And the stupid thing goes off every half hour. It's not mine. Here's why you might consider turning... Go leave that in. 9 to 5 Mac, David. They copied one of our videos.
Sure did, yeah.
Yep. Word for word. No, setting for setting.
It was the structure of the video was the same. They took our video and took all of the steps that we did, put them in the same order, and then removed like 4 of them that were like the best battery chips, and then put that out as their own video.
We'll tap back to settings. We're going to scroll up. I just moved the whole damn phone. iOS 17 just came out with a ton of awesome new features, none of which Trudy is actually interested in, but you might be. Check this out. I am not a doctor. Zach's dad is a doctor, an eye doctor. He'd help. Yeah, we should have your dad on. Dr. Allen? Yeah, Dr. Allen.